Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Zone YouTube channel and welcome to our Premier League predictions. Match day 36 now. Only 3 of these more to go. And we're coming towards the end of the season, which means not really much to break down in terms of games. We've got one big one being obviously Newcastle and Chelsea, both teams battling for European competitions. Arsenal have to give the guard of honour to Liverpool, but outside of that, a lot of nothing games. Villa obviously pushing for those European places, so is Man City. As well as the battle for the last few positions, Bournemouth and Fulham obviously still challenging in there, but not too much to look forward to this weekend, unfortunately, for the Premier League. Looking back to last week, and our point system added 10 of our prediction points, taking our total now to 248 after 35 match weeks, meaning we're 2 away from our goal target at the start of the season. So let's try and push, I think, 265 now. Maybe a bit edgy, but potentially trying to get there come season's end. If you're wondering how the point system works, you hear right at the end, it is 3 points for correct scoreline, 1 point for the correct result, and 0 points for neither. And with that being said, guys, let's now jump straight into the predictions for match day 36. We're off to Craven Cottage for Fulham and Everton the Saturday afternoon kickoff here. Fulham coming into this game after a difficult 1-0 loss at Villa Park, where they really didn't quite, for me, get to grips with that game there. They were dangerous in a few opportunities, but didn't look at their best. The side only picked up 1 win in their past 4 games, no clean sheet in 7. I think for me, that is the foundation of the problems in recent weeks. Unable to keep clean sheets when they've really struggled to score. I think once again, it'll be reinforcing that defensive solidity. Anderson and Bassey at the back are going to be massive yet again. But then going forward versus a team like Everton who don't often like to attack, you're going to need to find a way to break this side down. I'm looking at Sessegnon and Alex Iwobi, who've built quite a good partnership in the wide spaces. Look to those two yet again to try and get at this Everton side here, as I said, who like to sit in, are pragmatic, and it's going to take something special from one of those two players to break down this Everton low block. Obviously, they drew 2-2 last time out versus Ipswich, one of the few times they sort of came out of their shell and looked to attack an opposition, and they only ended with a draw on that one there, meaning it's only 1 win in their last 10 games, only 4 goals scored in their past 5 games. So you got the more high scoring attacking side in Fulham at home versus a more pragmatic defensively orientated David Moyes side in Everton here. So it's pretty clear how both teams will set up. For Everton, it's about can they have an edge in the final third? Can they look dangerous when they get the ball moving forward? Talked a lot this season about their midfielders and driving the ball forward, but they've got the full attacking outfit up there. So Beto, McNeil, Iliman Ndiaye, the 3 of them up top are talented. They have the ability to find the back of the net when they are in sort of flow state and moving the ball with a bit more speed and authority and purpose, like we saw versus Ipswich. 2 goals will be able to score. So it'd be interesting to see, a real nothing game for them come the end of the season here. Can they show what they can do in the final third? Can David Moyes free the shackles of these sort of players here and see if they can get at this Fulham side that struggled to keep clean sheets across the last few weeks? I thought there'll be goals in this game here. Fulham will look to try and score a lot, meaning there will be gaps at the back which Everton can try and expose. I am still going to back Fulham in, though, at home. A 3-1 win here for me, in particular Alex Iwobi taking over and getting the victory for his Fulham side. Portman Road is the location for Ipswich, who host Brentford in our next Saturday afternoon kickoff here. Ipswich coming off a somewhat impressive 2-2 draw away at Goodison Park. Again, not the easiest place to go and play football, and they took their chances when they got forward, which is, I guess, a real opposite theme to what has been going on in recent times. They have no win in their last 5 games, only 5 goals scored across 5 games. So attacking football has not really been central to this side across the last few games. And in particular in this game here, I think you have to free the shackles, have to take the game on, especially to a Brentford side that can leave themselves vulnerable defensively. We saw how their last game went versus Manchester United. So look to Julio and Enciso, Amari Hutchinson to try and exploit Brentford committing, especially wing-backs high up the pitch, to create channels and opportunities and wide spaces to go and get balls into the box to the big man, Liam Delap up top. Obviously, Morsey and Taylor in the centre of the park have a massive job to try and prevent the overflowing run and the run that Brentford have from midfield areas. They've got a massive role to protect that back four and keep Brentford at arm's reach. Looking at Brentford, obviously, they came off the back of that crazy 4-3 game versus Manchester United. A big win for them there. It means they've won 3 games in a row, 11 goals in their past 5 games, unbeaten in those 5 games as well. And it'll be simple once again. The blueprint is there. Continue to play this transition style of football. Continue to utilise the pace you've got up top. Johan Visser, Brian Mbermo, Kevin Schade. It feels like it's your turn, then my turn, then someone else's turn up top. The three of them seem to just lift in different games. Last time out it was Kevin Schade. Vis has had his moments come 2025, and obviously at the start of the season it's all about Brian and Bermo. So, it is a real sharing of the load up top. They've been fantastic. I think they'll look to exploit this Ipswich side. That will be a little bit more on the front foot being at home, and that means there'll be spaces in behind for these faster players to go and exploit. And I think as such, they really dominate this game here for me. Brentford score 4 once again here. 4-1 win over Ipswich Town. Ipswich just not having the ability to defensively shut down this really good Brentford attacking line. We're off to Southampton as Southampton play host to Manchester City. The Saints going down 2-0 last time out versus relegated side Leicester City as well, which sort of condemned them to being equal on points here with Derby County. Cannot see them getting another point for the rest of the season, but it could be a good chance once again for some players to stand up and show what they're all about in the Premier League as they play for some contracts. No clean sheet in the last 16 games, 3 goals scored in their past 5 games is real grim reading. They've had a few games in there in which they've picked up the odd point or two, but they come up against a very, very strong Man City side that, tell you what, it could be a real long day for this Southampton unit. For me, it's all about being defensively solid. Protect yourself, protect the dignity of the football club and all terms here. Stevenson, Bednarek, Harwood Bellis, the 3 centre-halves, Walker-Peters as well, tucking in, be so compact, be deep, because if they're not careful here, Man City are going to smash 6, 7, 8 past your side here. It's really, really important they do not give the ball away when they have it as well. Mateus Fernandes, Sulemena, those guys up top, when you get the opportunity, try and retain possession, because the more City have the football, the more chance they are going to inflict pain on the Southampton side here, who have really struggled in particular last time out, just outplayed by Leicester City, who have been equally as poor side this season. Looking at Man City, a massive 1-0 win last time out versus Wolves, an informed Wolves side as well, and they carry that confidence into this game here, unbeaten in their last 9 on the back of 5 straight wins. And for me, it's all been about Kevin De Bruyne, and it's all been about Bernardo Silva. I question these players at the start of the season, at the midpoint of the season as well, but coming into the season, they've switched on, they've gotten into their bag almost, and they're finding that confidence yet again. That veteran leadership, they are igniting the fire in this Man City squad. They're igniting the energy up top. They're making things happen. They're both playing centrally, obviously De Bruyne in the false 9 and Bernardo Silva is at number 8 that sort of roams into different pockets, and they've been fantastic. The link-up play, the ability to keep possession, the ability to make the right reads, convert in front of goal has been superb. So look to those two yet again, alongside the dangerous Doku and Marmoush up top, just to wreak all sorts of havoc versus a very, very out of form and a really, really underwhelming Southampton side. I said it could get ugly. I think it will get ugly. I think Man City smash Southampton for 6. I've gone Man City 6, Southampton 0 in this game here. One of the darkest days for Southampton in the Premier League for this one for me. We're off to the Molineux as Brighton travel to face Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves, obviously a really tough 1-0 loss last time out versus Manchester City. They were very good, I think, with and without the football. Really compact, denied a lot of scoring opportunities for Manchester City. And once again, it was just the quality of the veteran players in that game there that eventually broke down this Wolverhampton side. They have scored 10 goals in their past 5 games, 6 wins from their past 7. So they still have the belief, they still have the confidence here at the Molineux to get this job done. And I think Vitor Pereira's side will want to continue to end the season off on a real bright note, and they'll continue to try and win games of football. And they come up against a side like Brighton, who are being very, very inconsistent. So in this game here, I think you look to the midfield area. Brighton have struggled to control games. They've struggled to defend in recent times. And I think Andre, alongside Gomez in the centre of the park, with how, I guess, bulldog-like they are, with how fierce they are midfield, biting at the feet of the opposition midfielders, it's a real chance to take control in that area of the park at home and dictate proceedings from the central area. We know Belieber and Hinshaw would likely to play in midfield. 2 young players, obviously their ceilings are fantastic. They've shown glimpses so far this season of being superb in games, but they're very inconsistent and they're youthful. Come up against a midfield combination that Wolves had, which is a little bit more experienced, have played some great football this season and much more physical. It's a real chance for them to win that area of the park and keep Wolves on the front foot. And if they stay on the front foot, Munetsi up top, Cunha, Strand Larson and the likes, it's going to get very, very dangerous for Brighton, especially with how poor they've been defensively in the back end of this season here. Looking at Brighton, they were improved last time out in that 1-1 draw versus Newcastle United. To be honest, it's probably more Newcastle not being at their best rather than Brighton being back to where they were in the first half of the year. They've conceded 11 goals in their past 5 games, coinciding with only 1 win in their last 5. So that really shows a clear picture. Not good enough defensively, no results following that up. That high-scoring moment they had at the start of the year has sort of disappeared. A lack of chances being created, lack of creativity in wide spaces, and as such has really fallen away for this Brighton and Hove Albion side. And obviously going away to the Molineux, it's all about defensive solidity first. So Van Hecke alongside Dunk and Verbruggen in goal. Those 3 at the heart of their defence have to be much better. They were good versus Newcastle United, probably 6, 7 out of 10. You want to see them back to an 8 or 9 out of 10 to be that real solid backbone for Brighton to build on. And then it breathes confidence into the side. They can go play a little bit more attacking football, commit a few more numbers up the pitch, and all of a sudden Brighton are back to their best. It's all on the back of defensive solidity. So Van Hecke, Dunk and Verbruggen, massive games required from them, in particular shut down Matheus Cunha, Strand Larsen, Munetsi and company up top, which have been so dangerous come 2025. For me, I think Wolves continue their great run of form. Brighton inconsistent. I can't see them really laying a glove on Wolves in terms of their attacking outputs. As such, I've got a Wolves win here, a 2-1 win here at home. Making count of a good early start here for me, and then Brighton fighting back late, but not enough to beat this Wolverhampton side. We're off to the south coast as Bournemouth play host to Aston Villa. 2 teams very much interested in the hunt for European football come next season. Bournemouth off the back of a fantastic win at the Emirates, 2-1 to complete the double over Arsenal this season. They'll try to carry over that confidence into this game here. They've been unbeaten in their last 5 games, however only scored 6 goals in that time here. So it's really, really clear defensive solidity has been the backbone to their football, but it's also coincided with really poor attacking output. Antoine Semenyo, far from his best. Kluivert, Dango Ouattara, really not being at their sparkling best, where they're dynamic, where they're direct, where they're causing problems for defenders. In all truthfulness, it's been Evan Nilsson's ability to nick goals in key moments which has kept Bournemouth in games, and I want to see if they can reignite that flame up top, because they come up against a very, very solid Aston Villa side that are being much more defensively orientated, much more defensively structured in February and onwards from that point in time. As I said, defensive solidity is the key for Bournemouth. It has been their calling card for most of the season, and in particular, at the back, Zabani and Dean Huijsen, they were superb versus Arsenal, prevented crosses into the box. They were strong and solid, winning their duels on the ground or in the air. Look to those two yet again to be the core of what Bournemouth do defensively. And then that encourages like Araujo, Kirkez to push on up the pitch and allows Bournemouth to be a little bit more free going forward, because they know those two at the back are going to be super solid, meaning more numbers committed up the pitch, more danger in wide areas, and maybe Bournemouth can re-find that attacking football, which they did so well at the start of the season. Looking at Villa, a massive 1-0 win versus Fulham last time out. It keeps their hopes of Champions League and Europa League football alive. 9 goals in their past 5 games. It's been all about attacking football, and as such, it's all been about these 2 key players, which have been Yuri Tielemans and Morgan Rogers. Those 2 have been fantastic in combination. Tielemans a little bit deeper as that deeper line playmaker, making those late runs into the box, and then Morgan Rogers, the skills, the changes of pace, the nous in and around the box has been superb. They've linked up so well in the last 4 to 5 games to cause all sorts of problems for backlines in Europe and in the Premier League, and look to those 2 yet together, trying to get the better of this very, very solid Bournemouth backline. For me, I think it's Villa's confidence, their increased run of form, and their ability to break down a back line and their more danger in the final third that's going to make the difference in this game here for me. They get the 2-0 win here away at Bournemouth. Bournemouth will be stubborn. They'll be tough to beat. I think Villa's quality will eventually show through, and Bournemouth's lack of confidence in the final third means they fall short in this game here for me. Arguably the biggest game of the weekend sees Newcastle play host to Chelsea. This is the game that we'll be going live for on the weekend. Absolutely cannot wait for it. 2 teams battling it out for Champions League qualification spots. So it means there's a lot to play for in this game here. Newcastle, that little good run of form has sort of halted in recent times. A 1-1 draw last time out away at Brighton. They really lacked that cutting edge and danger in the final third there for me, but we know they have it in their back pocket. 14 goals in their past 5 games, but only coinciding with 3 wins in those past 5 games. They need to re-find that absolutely ruthless edge in the final third. I think that comes through Isak and Gordon linking back up in the final third yet again here for me. Their ability to be clinical, whether it be a lot of chances created for them or limited chances created for them could be the difference in this game here. It's likely going to be a game that's played between the thirds in that centre third of the park. Two great midfield combinations going head to head. So when you get an opportunity in the final third, it's about who can be more clinical. And I think for me, with Isaac and Gordon, potentially Murphy or Barnes up there for Newcastle, they're more clinical, they're the more dangerous side, and they could be the difference in this game here to separate Chelsea and Newcastle. Looking at Chelsea, it was a massive 3-1 win versus Liverpool last time out in the Premier League, followed it up with a 1-0 win in the Conference League, and they want to continue this good run of form. 5 consecutive wins in all competitions, only conceding 3 goals in that time there as well. And that's going to be important. Defensive solidity is always important when you go to Newcastle. That crowd gets involved. Newcastle look dangerous, especially when they get a lot of possession. So it's really important that Chelsea stay compact and keep the clean sheet as long as they possibly can in this game here. But for me, it's about the midfield trio. Lavia alongside Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer at the 10. Those three were very, very good. They were influential versus Liverpool last time out. They controlled that game. They dictated the key moments and they won those key moments for me. They made those big chances and they converted on them. Can they do it yet again versus a more physical, a more robust, a more energised Newcastle United midfield three? Because for me, whoever wins that midfield battle is likely to win this game here for me. Because if you win that midfield battle, more chance in the final third, more opportunity to score, and is more likely as such to win the game of football. If Chelsea can win that area of the park, you give them a real hot chance in this game here. I just can't see them being physical enough to match what Newcastle bring in that area of the park there. As such, I got a Newcastle win, 3-1 for me. More dangerous in the final third, more physical in the centre of the park, and as such, picking up all 3 points. We're off to Old Trafford for Manchester United and West Ham in our next game here. Manchester United, a real tough 4-3 loss away at Brentford last time out. A good start to the game, but fell away late. That's been a real theme of things in the Premier League recently for Manchester United. 3 losses in the last 5 Premier League games. No win in their past 5 Premier League games. It's really been a problem. Domestic football, obviously the Conference League, they're into the final. That's good. But they need to be much better in the Premier League. For me in this game here, Kobbie Mainoo and Mason Mount, they're growing in confidence, they're growing in fitness. I expect them to start in this game here, and they're going to be massive for Manchester United. If they can get the side ticking in the final third, getting them moving forward, getting them looking dangerous in the final third, especially creating chances for Chido Obi Martin, even potentially Alejandro Garnacho, that's when Manchester United could get on top and could actually win a game of Premier League football. So look to those two. Whether they be playing a little bit deeper or as those 2 number 10s in behind the central striker to be the difference makers for Manchester United in this game here. Looking at West Ham, was a 1-1 draw last time out versus Spurs. They also have no win in their last 5 Premier League games and are also a side totally devoid of confidence. For me in this game here, when West Ham have played their best football under Potter, it's been an emphasis of winning the areas wide. And that means Wan-Bissaka and Emerson in this game here have massive roles. It is a absolute match-up between the two sides, exact same formations. If Wan-Bissaka and Emerson can win those wide battles, if they can get West Ham going forward, if they can limit Manchester United's ability to create in wide spaces, that goes a long way to West Ham winning this game of football. We know Wan-Bissaka's probably been West Ham's most consistent player this season. Can he do it at Old Trafford? Can he shut some of the Manchester United ownership up by putting together a really solid performance here against his old club? It'll be really key to see and really important for West Ham if they want to get all 3 points in this game here for me. With that being said, West Ham really lack that clinical edge. They lack that danger going forward. I think Manchester United can exploit that, commit a few more numbers going forward, look a little bit more dangerous in their own right in the final third and get a win here for me. They get back to winning ways in the Premier League with a 2-0 win here at Old Trafford versus West Ham as West Ham continue their poor finish to the season. We're at the City Ground for Nottingham Forest and Leicester City. Forest coming off the back of another disappointing result, that 1-1 draw away at Crystal Palace on Monday Night Football. Further season dropped down the table in their race for Champions League and now the race for Conference League football as they really have fallen away. 3 losses, 1 draw and 1 win in their past 5 games really shows the struggles, and it's been the lack of energy, the lack of spark in this side that has really gone away since sort of March, and it's been a real drastic and rapid fall off from this Forest side. They need inspiring performances from Morgan Gibbs-White, from Anthony Elanga, from Chris Wood. I call on all 3 of these players to lift in this game here. It's a very, very weak Leicester backline. It's a chance to refine your confidence, refine your form, and reignite this season right towards the end here. European football is almost secure for the side, but it'd be a real shame from being third all season to dropping all the way out to 7th or 8th. I want to get back to winning ways, and what a chance here at home versus a very, very weak Leicester City side. They did get a win at last, that 2-0 win at home versus Southampton last time out. However, they've really struggled. Only 4 goals in their past 5 games. That was their first clean sheet kept in 2025 in that last game. So they're a really weak side defensively. They don't have much threat going forward. And not really much to play for outside of pride, again, for another relegated side. And you know what? Forest do commit numbers forward. They do like to be very, very attacking as games grow deeper. There's a chance here for Leicester to potentially cause some problems in transition. El Kanous, Jordan Ayew and Jamie Vardy up top. In transition, you could cause some problems versus Nottingham Forest if you keep a clean sheet for 30, 40 minutes. There's a real potential there. Do I see him doing that? Absolutely not, though. I just can't see Leicester holding on with this dangerous Forest attack for much longer than half an hour. Forest get on top. They dominate this game here for me. I've gone with a Forest 4-0 win at home versus Leicester City. Tottenham Hotspur play host to Crystal Palace on another Sunday fixture here. Spurs obviously picking up that 1-1 draw last time out. Versus West Ham United. They've only got 1 win in their last 5 in the Premier League as well, but they've also qualified for the Europa League final. So all their focus is on that tournament there. So you expect a few rotations coming into this game here for me. I think, though, in particular, it's about the midfield area. Crystal Palace love transition. They often win midfield battles, and that often ignites that attacking football, which they like to play. So Papsar alongside Basuma or even Archie Gray in the centre of the park, look to them to be a little bit more robust, a little bit more defensively orientated to try and prevent Crystal Palace transitioning with ease and getting into attacking movements quite swiftly, because when Palace play quickly, opposition teams are caught off balance and they can't stop the threat which they have up top. Obviously, Palace, they were held to a 1-1 draw at home versus Forest. They played a bit of football. They'll be disappointed they couldn't get all 3 points. And to be honest, since 2025, since the turn of the year, they've been fantastic in the final third. Attacking football has been their threat. They're unbeaten in the last 4 Premier League games, drawing 3 games, however, in that time there. They'll want to get a big win in this game here, and it'll be off the back of those key attacking players, Eberechi Eze, Ismail Assar, who play in behind Jean-Philippe Mateta. Those 2 have been fantastic across the last 4 to 5 games, dynamic in the final third, energised, creating chances for Mateta, creating chances for themselves or others. It's really been a great watch in recent times and have been a highlight of Crystal Palace's turnaround. Look to those 2 to expose the weak Spurs backline. Look to them to expose a fatigued Spurs side who have just gone and travelled to Norway to play football on Thursday night. I think Palace have a great start here. They get on top early and they manage the game from there on in. As such, I said them winning this game 2-1. Spurs will try and come back, but I think the tired legs will show and Palace get another win in the Premier League for me. Our final games, he's won and played 2. Liverpool hosts Arsenal in the final game of the week and the late Sunday kickoff. Liverpool obviously went down 3-1 at Chelsea last time out. Again, they are playing for nothing. They know they're champions of the league. They have scored 11 goals, however, in the past 5 games. Only won 3 in that time there. So you expect a high-scoring game. You expect goals aplenty. Potentially bragging rights to be fought for between Liverpool and Arsenal here. With not much to play for, you look to the heartbeat type players for me. Virgil van Dijk, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, Jones, Elliott, even Wataru Endo. Can they stand up in this game here? Can they insert energy to this Liverpool performance? Because other players, spark players, they're likely to be a little bit on the beach, if you would here, and not quite focused on the task at hand. But we know Liverpool can be dangerous. We know Arne Slot will try and set this team up to try and keep winning. He doesn't want to lose many more games this season, so they'll come ready to win. It's about how much they're willing to fight in this game here versus an Arsenal side who, they were beaten last time out versus Bournemouth 2-1. They've lost 3 games in a row in all competitions, only scoring 8 goals. They will want to return to winning ways. I don't know how many starters will play off the back of that PSG performance midweek, but as such, I'm looking to the younger players. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, bench players like Leandro Trossard, to come on, Jorginho in particular, to try and insert energy into this side as well. Try and fight for something here come the end of the season. It would feel wrong if they dropped into 3rd place considering the football they've played this season. So Mikel Arteta, similar to Arne Slot, will try and get his troops ready to go and try and get them to fight in this game here. It's a real shame that there's really nothing to play for in this game here between 2 of the top sides. But I think we can expect goals. I've gone with the Arsenal 3-2 win here. I know they're playing away at Anfield, but I think Arsenal will be the hungry of the 2 sides, and as such, they get the win here in this game for me. That wraps up our predictions for match day 36, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have I got it right? Have I got it wrong? Let me know your predictions, some of your key players, and your key matchup from the weekend. I love seeing the interaction down in the comment section, so I'd love to see you leave a comment with what your thoughts are on the upcoming weekend's action. With that being said, guys, hope you have a great day. Enjoy the weekend football action, and I'll see you guys in a video or podcast very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.